Welcome to Olacan City. My name is Eduardo De Leon, and we are here with Kris Wickstead. Hi, Kris.
Hey, Eduardo. Hey.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Well, Eduardo, my name is Kris Wickstead. I'm a mechanical engineer. I live here in Carson City, and I work up in Reno, actually at a company called the Hamilton Company. And my role there is I'm a senior manufacturing engineer for our clean room. We mold plastic parts in a clean room so that they can be used for medical devices and for testing fluid samples from humans so that they can diagnose conditions and determine if there's any problems with the samples that they get from people at the hospital and from the doctor. So my job is just to do design work, to test, and to document everything that we do so that when we make products we can have that all together for customers and also be able to build the best products possible.
Is it hard documenting the samples?
Yeah, it can be, because when we do testing we have to do a wide variety of different tests on many different parts. And what we do is we'll test like 5 plastic parts with this lid. We'll test 5 other parts with another lid. Then we'll test 5 other parts with a third lid. And so you have all these 15 parts, but then what tests we run on it, we might get different results for each set of 5. So we have to go through and actually document all of that, and it's so that we kind of protect and substantiate the information we've gotten on the product. So.
Does it take a lot of math to do the job?
Yeah, when I went through college, I had to start with some of the highest levels of math in high school. But even if you didn't, you could still go to college and get those math classes. But the math classes I took in college, I think I took 8 math classes in college, from calculus all the way up to linear algebra to differential equations and then some statistics. And that amount of math will actually give you a minor degree in math as well as the degree in engineering that you're getting. So there's a lot of math. But I would say it's not as difficult as it seems, because for people that are afraid of math or aren't sure about math, there's always a lot of help. And even if you're starting out maybe at a lower level of math than, say, some of the kids that are doing the most difficult math in high school, you can work with other students at college. You can get into study groups. You can work with tutors. You can work with your teaching assistants that work with the professors. So there's a lot of ways to get through that math. Even if you're not the greatest at math, you don't necessarily have to be the best at it. You can gain that through college.
Why do you choose this job to do?
So when I was a kid, when I was 6, I found a love of cars. I love automobiles, and so I wanted to design and build cars when I was a kid. And that led up to some of the things that I took in high school, some of the classes like auto shop and machine shop classes. I took wood shop in junior high. And that allowed me to use my hands and build things. And then when I got out of high school, I was prepared to take an engineering degree, and I took the mechanical engineering degree. So I didn't end up becoming a car designer, but I did end up learning all of the tools and the different curriculums and the different disciplines required to be an engineer. And then I could take that and be an engineer just about any place that requires engineers.
So Kris, what kind of skills are needed to enter in this job?
So to become an engineer, you do need math, you do need science. Through the college curriculum or through high school and college, you would hopefully have gained that to become an engineer. It also requires a strong level of creativity. Not all of it is going to be science and math and things you find in a book. You know, people who go into engineering like to solve problems, and they like to help people. There's a lot of jobs where a lot of people like to help other people, whether it be, sometimes it's being a nurse or being a doctor. They help people. Well, engineers help people by building things that make life easier or building things that make life better. You know, so the creativity aspect comes into play when you figure out how to solve that problem. And the nice thing about being an engineer is when people give you a project to solve the problem, they don't usually tell you how to solve it. And so you get to do that. You get to say, hey, I'm going to solve it by building a tower, or I'm going to build a building, or I'm going to build a garage. Your solution to the problem is based on what you think is best. And so that's what makes it very interesting and fun for me over and over and over for a long period of time, because I can keep doing different things and being creative all throughout my job, and it's never the same. So it has a lot of variety, a lot of creativity. People who are artists, people who are musically inclined, they're very creative as well. They create new and different ways to either have something to look at or make sound. That same level of creativity is involved in engineering, because you have people that come up with a different solution to the problem all across the world. So you never see the two bridges that look the same. That's because the civil engineers that make those bridges came up with a different way to solve those problems.
Kris, could you show us some of the things that you brought here today?
Sure. Well, today I brought my 3D printer. We have this is something now that you can buy for the home. The purpose of a 3D printer is to be able to take a design that you have electronically, or a part, or a picture. It could be a picture. It could be a solid model of a part that you want to try and create. And the 3D printer will print it out quickly without having to make like a machined part that's expensive, or to mold it, or to cast it out of aluminum, or make it out of metal. You could make it out of plastic first and at least look at it and show it to other people and get feedback. Like here I have an Eiffel Tower. This we printed in 4 sections, but we can take, and we downloaded this model from the internet on a website that has 3D models, and you can print out the Eiffel Tower, something that you may not have had a chance to see. You may not have gone to France. So what is the Eiffel Tower like? Well, there you go. This is like a cup or a vase, and this is a part that you couldn't make any other way. It's a very complex interior shape, and there's no way that someone making a plastic mold or machining could get down into these areas and make this shape. So only a 3D printer could make that part, at least in that shape. We've got quite a few toys as well. The nice thing is the plastic you can print out, and it's not very expensive. So we've got some Minecraft parts here, some Minecraft toys. We've got the creeper. We've got the pigs. We've got a ghast. This one, some of the parts I've brought are damaged, so we printed out other ones. This here is a octopus, like an octopus arm, but you can use it as a phone holder. You can stick your phone in there. This is a rabbit. And the printer that I have is unique. You can print in 2 colors at the same time. So this part here is just a Seahawks logo. You could take any team you want, baseball, football, basketball, and as long as you have their logo or their monogram, you could print it out and make a key ring, or make a necklace, or whatever you want to make. We have Master Yoda, and we have some other parts like these here are actually skulls that we turned into a keychain for Halloween time. So this is a castle. I think it's a Minecraft castle. It's kind of nice because it looks really highly detailed. It's got the jagged edges on the top, and inside it's got the throne and a little door at the front.
And what is the average time for a toy like this to be finished?
I would say 2 hours. Something like this size is going to be a couple hours. It would take 2-3 hours for this kind of part. I think Yoda took 3.5 hours, but he's got a lot of detail. The shape of Yoda is very complex, so he's going to take longer than some of the others. Plus, you got to take your time with something from Star Wars. You don't want to just like crank that out. You got to do that with some quality. So
what
it
about
just
this
depends.
piece?
The Eiffel Tower took a number of hours because of the level of detail, these cross sections, and then in each one of these sections there's 4 sections that went into the Eiffel Tower. So there's a top section, a second section, this third inner section, and the 4th bottom section. So we actually have to print those individually, or you can try and print them on the same bed at the same time, but it just takes a lot longer.
And how much does a 3D printer usually cost?
Nowadays, printers are getting very inexpensive. When I first bought a color printer, my dad bought me a color printer in high school. It was $650 for a color printer back then. That's a lot of money. But nowadays, 3D printers are that much money. Right? So there are some 3D printers that are $249. This 3D printer is about $600 or $700. And then the plastic is not expensive at all. For 2 pounds of plastic, it comes on a roll in a filament, kind of like a fishing line, but it's plastic that you can put in the printer. It's $23. So that's cheaper than even a color print cartridge, actually.
So in my health science classes, we learned that nowadays we could 3D print human organs.
And that is a technology that they're working on right now today. I don't know how far along they are, but it's not that far-fetched. It's definitely possible. The application that we could do with this printer today would be like an artificial arm, a plastic arm, and then they would add a hand to it with metal or something like that. We could print that today with this printer. But what the doctors and scientists are working on for the future, and I think they've done some things, is taking cells and cloning technology and stem cells and those kinds of things, and then using those cells in a device like a 3D printer. I don't think it looks like this. I don't think it just prints out cells, but it uses the cells in a certain way to make certain parts of the body.
Well, thank you, Kris, for showing us these engineering techniques and for taking time out of your schedule to be here on the show with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
See you next time on All of Carson City.